especially in this environment. So as we get ready now for the draft phase for Luminosity versus Hapi, let's see if they focus them out. First ban's going to come through, and that will be Luminosity banning out Mercury.
It seems that Luminosity have been doing their homework, and if they're going to ban away Mercury right off the bat, that means that Blue Whale heavily relies on such a mobile character, and yet again, another jungler being targeted away from Blue Whale.
Yeah, we see completely different bans from game one, obviously, and it's definitely something that must be research orientated, because I've never seen a Mercury ban in a long time.
No, not at all. And now Bellona being banned away as well. We saw what Baskin was able to do with it despite dying early on in the game. He was still applying a lot of pressure. Now Camazotz being banned. This is a god that we haven't seen much of. In the Super Regionals, we saw Divios pull it out, I think twice, maybe 3 times during the Super Regionals. Then we also saw, I think it was Homie F.A. pull it out of the jungle. I don't really know whether or not Mass has been practicing this, but they left Terra open, and without hesitation, Luminosity lock it in.
Yeah, that's a terrifying first pick. If you're on the team Hapi, giving someone like Jeff Findler the Terra is just terrifying. He's a dominant force, and Hapi hovering the soul, which I mean, you cannot give them Terra soul.
I see what you did there, you know, terrifying.
It is
terrifying.
Nemesis, though. So Nemesis is another great jungler that has a lot of burst potential and a lot of all-in burst potential, more importantly. So we could very easily see Hapi starting to group up and look for ganks off of the Divine Judgment off of Nemesis.
Yeah, no, I like the Nemesis pick. It's actually not bad against Terra, right? You need to burst Terra down.
Xingwei gets a lot. This is not, I mean, already with these first 2 picks from Luminosity and the Giannis, I mean, that's dangerous.
This is a scary Luminosity gaming draft. They pretty much have their comfort picks. Xenotronix, one of his favorite characters is Giannis. That's what he's named for. We've got Barracuda, one of the most dominant ADCs, and we have the Terra pick. This is a very scary draft, but Team Hapi responding well with a very burst-heavy comp, I want to say.
I would say so. Bacchus and Nemesis is definitely those 2 gods that you want to be able to synergize well in the small 3v3 skirmishes between your support, middle, and jungler, maybe trying to pick off that Guardian early on in the game before those defensive items come online. We still don't know, though, if that Terra is going to go to Scary D or Jeff Findler. I'm assuming it's going to go to Jeff Findler based off of his god picks and tendencies.
I think you want to get Scary D on something he's comfortable with. Let's get those land nerves, you know, under wrapped. Terra's quite a little bit more difficult to play than one of those kind of easier warriors. But I do like the Hapi draft. I like the burst damage they've got. We're going to see the Nemesis ults into back assaults. People are getting drunk.
Somebody's going to get drunk on the side of Luminosity off of that Bacchus. And already we see a lot of mobility on Luminosity. The Giannis portals, the Xingwei passive, Terra global presence is always going to help out Scary D if he ever gets in trouble as well. So Hapi's going to have to be careful about how they take these engagements, because there's going to be a ticking timer until the rest of Luminosity will show up behind those portals.
I really like the Rat Band as well. That's one of Mars' favorite characters, and we see a Rama pick here. So that's probably going to be a soul mid. Or unless they're going to do something crazy with the Ram mid.
They could pull a Snoopy where, you know, pull out the Ram mid every now and then, you know?
Yeah.
I think, was it Snoopy that started Ram mid?
I believe so. It's definitely not, it's not bad. Oh.
It has its merits, especially. Oh, he's every time. Every time Barracuda hovers over the
flashes here.
Nah, it's going to be, it could be the Osiris. And it will be actually for Scary D. We were talking about it, that he would more than likely prefer a safer later game character. But with a Willish as well, this means that Luminosity, they're looking to play aggressive right off the bat in that solo lane.
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lot of damage in the solo and jungle. They'll be able to dominate that kind of area. Should have nice fast clear, be able to kind of secure those fire giant harpies, the mid camps and such, and get off to a good lead, hopefully. Do
you expect Luminosity now to follow in the same footsteps as Soar and look for that invade?
I think Luminosity are a pretty straight-up team. I actually think they won't invade. That's my prediction. I think they're going to just be nice and comfortable, just try and get their first game through. And I think they might want to hold some cards back, maybe if they're expecting themselves to win. They might not want to show everything.
All right, gentlemen, well, the draft is locked. Who do you got winning this one?
I think that Luminosity have the better draft at this point. They just have too much global pressure with the Terra, with the Giannis. They also have some good damage and guys that can get in that backline, such as the Osiris. So I got to give it to Luminosity.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Luminosity as well. I think they've got a really nice draft. I like Hapi's draft, but it's very hard to execute. Definitely going to have to be on top of their communication, see the Nemesis ults into those Bacchus combos.
Oh boy. Well, this is it. Let's see how it all unfolds. Will the Chinese team shock the world, or will the hometown heroes come out on top? Let's go ahead and get ready for our second game of the SMITE World Championships. Toss it over to our casters.
Thanks a lot, Golden Boy. We're standing by, myself, F-Dot, Aggro, and of course, Funball going to be joining us. How you feeling?
Feeling good, ready for this game. I want to see what China can bring.
This is going to be really exciting. I love Luminosity's draft here. I mean, giving Barracuda Jingwei already is really good, and I love the fact that the first two picks are Jeff Hindla and Barracuda. These are the two guys that have been around forever. These are who Luminosity are trusting to win the game.
I mean, I always talk about how you have to sort of lean on the people that... Every team is different, and we heard the analysts really talk about this duo lane. Luminosity is driven by these two players, so absolutely have to look towards them.
Yeah, and Terra's a really good god, especially for the early game. Oh, they're looking for the invade. Do they have a hog? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Nope, they don't.
No,
so
no
they're
hog.
looking for the pressure, and if they can, hopefully they can get the speed buff.
Here's the thing, though. We've been talking about the North American team's draft so much, and if you forget about the fact that they have their comfort picks, that's really why we're focusing hard on the draft. Hapi's draft on the right side, that's not a bad look. If you rewind 6 months, this is the dream draft of every North American team. You've got the Nemesis and the Bacchus combo. Somebody's going to die, and it's going to happen fast. The reason we're afraid of LG is because these are the comfort picks. If Hapi can overcome that situation, this is a tight match.
Not only that, but the combo between the Bacchus flop into the Nemesis ult isn't going to work against multiple people from Luminosity. Terra can't get knocked up whenever she's got a stone out. And then if you're jumping around mass in the early game, you're going to get gravity surged in and blown up immediately.
Well, that's absolutely the trick there, is the Wheelish has been the counter to this draft entirely, and Luminosity is going to start off early with an invade. Nobody on Hapi wants a part of it.
Yeah, and one thing I want to say about the Bacchus is whenever we picked Bacchus in the SPL, Willix would always be picked, and if you Bacchus sleep, then you get insta-ulted. You can't do anything about that.
Very, very difficult to deal with, and that's one of the reasons that we saw this draft on the right side for Luminosity was that invade right there. A Willish Osiris, you can't fight that in the early game. You have to give up your buff, and this is just such a big lead already for Luminosity.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes down to it, the second round of bans out of Hapi was Fenrir and Ratatasker. I would have loved to see the only change out of this draft. I love what Hapi did. I would have loved to see a Wheelish be said no to.
Especially because last time we saw Mast play that Fenrir, it was a whole lot of jumping around with Ragnarok and not really hitting anyone. And he told me he was never playing that god ever again. So yeah, the Willish definitely a stronger pick for him.
So about this solo lane matchup, the problem is with fighting Jay is that he's not going to have the pressure until later on in the stage, and Scary D has the pressure, which is what Luminosity need in this first game.
Exactly, yeah, especially because they talked about on the analyst desk so much. Scary D's confidence level coming into this game is so important in my mind, and so giving him that early lead, giving him a bully in lane like Osiris, I love the draft by Luminosity.
I like the aggression coming out of the dual lane out of Hapi. 50-50 as far as the accuracy is concerned, but just the idea to roll it up on Barracuda. Like the way that's going to go. Scary D, half HP here, fighting Jay getting the better of him, but with that Judgment Tether that might turn the course of the battle. Low is fighting Jay. Scary D sticking to it. One shot, one kill. First blood, Luminosity.
That's exactly what you want if you're rooting for Luminosity, is Scary D getting an early first blood. There it is. Exactly like you said, Funball. Robin just doesn't have the pressure early on against Osiris.
Yeah, and what Scary did there is took the aggro on the creeps while the fighting Jay was, he was taking the poke.
There you see, again, another character that Bacchus can't really belly flop, is Jingwei, using that agility that is just so strong up against Bacchus. So that's 3 members of Luminosity that are going to be very difficult for Santorsky to really initiate onto.
One more time, aggression out of Maker. Shots are going to land this time. Barracuda about 40%, bounced on top. Sanctuary used, the stun is going to be strong, but you can see by Maker walking away, not really waiting for the shot.
So I like the Aegis pick into the Bacchus and into the Roma. Because if Bacchus leaps onto Jingwei, then...
Big commit. Big commit. Big commit. Luminosity looping around the backside. 2 players here in blue, in red, but 3 in blue. Baker's going to get away thanks to the beads, but he's going to fall down. Couple of shots. One waiting for it. Zeno gets the kill. It's 2-zip. LG.
Hey, Giannis is really good at that. Even though Barracuda's in base, he doesn't even need to be there. He just drop ships the entire team. That was the first time Jeff Hindla's seen the left lane all game. He's been roaming around. He was helping out Mast and Scary D on the right-hand side, and the first time he comes over, big impact. They get the kill on Maker.
Yeah, and it feels like Xenotronics at Super Regionals felt a bit nervous, but in this game, he hit all of his AAs, which I didn't expect the mid laner to do, but he's doing pretty well in this game.
And right here, Scary D chasing 2 players out by his lonesome. I can't establish how important this is. Last time at LAN, Scary D was almost a liability in the beginning, and slowly he became confident. We saw a single play that blasted him into the future. Now, here at Worlds, a couple of months later, Luminosity can depend on him like any other solo laner, and he's doing what he's supposed to do on the right side. Luminosity have gone from a team that has a duo lane and a couple of other stragglers to a full 5-man squad that everybody has to be aware of.
And that's what you need at Worlds, because you can't have only 1 or 2 players that are going to do everything for you. You need this whole squad to really work together. And you're exactly like you mentioned, Tom, the fact that Scary D has had this good of a start, just going in, stealing out that speed buff all by himself. He's already got his Ninja Tab Eye online, so those are going to help him box with those autos a little bit more. He's in a great spot right now.
That first blood. As soon as he wound up with the first blood, Ryan, that's when I said, all right, I adjusted myself, and I said, all right, we're going to watch a game where Luminosity is going to be very confident. I said it's going to be an uphill battle for Hapi. If they can it's going to be a good game for Hapi. If they can overcome the comfort picks out of LG, it's going to be an uphill battle.
And not only that, but Funball, you were talking about the Sanctuary pickup by Barracuda, and I also love it. We see that Xenotronics has gone for it as well. There's not a whole lot of reliable hard CC for Hapi, really. It's the root from Fighting Jay, the knockup from Santorsky. I mean, you got the small root, or the small knockup out of Soul as well, but outside of that, you're going to be really looking to Sanctuary away that burst damage, and having a team that has no hard CC, it's very difficult to get reliable burst in team fights.
Yeah, and you don't usually pick up Aegis early on an ADC unless Hapi picked this type of team comp.
Yeah.
And they don't have that type of big burst.
Yeah, the problem with Hapi's situation, there's the ultimates and the Bacchus jump, but Barra's going to be able to avoid it. Aggressively lands, Mask shows up, nice little knockup, and the pull! One couple of hits and it'll be good, but there's the rotation from the mid lane.
Xenotronics not even coming through. We don't even need the help. Mask gonna pick up 1. Xeno picks up the 2nd. Maker up in the sky. I don't think it's gonna matter though. Soul picks up Mask.
And there's the jump up from Ram. He falls down. Barra takes 1. Hapi answer back finally, but Luminosity win the fight 3-1, and they'll take the goal.
And Scary D rotated with just for the goal field because they already got 3 wins. And one thing we also didn't talk about is the Jingwei has a knock-up for the Willix, which we just saw.
It was just so chaotic right there. I can't believe Mass was able to track that knocked up Nemesis all the way through. And like you mentioned, Scary D on point with that rotation. He doesn't have that teleport. He needs to commit to that rotation when that fight first starts breaking out. He does. Fighting Jay does not. Even if Fighting Jay did make the rotation, though, I don't think it would have mattered. That Wrath came into play on that speed buff, and they're again on that Gold Fury. I like the decision from Fighting Jay to stay and farm because he needs it.
Yeah, and Fighting Jay didn't get anything there. He didn't even get Tower Poke. That was all minions, and there's nothing he could do there.
So right away, 6 minutes into this game, hold that. Santorsky's getting aggressive. Massive trouble, jumps away, no problem. Luminosity looking for the reset, thanks to that Terra heal. And right away, as I was saying, 6.5 into the game, Luminosity lead by 5 kills to 1 and an impressive 3,000 gold.
Another through space and time coming to the speed buff. The whole team is here. Hapi do secure their own speed. Nemesis ult is on a Xeno.
This is scary for LG. Hapi have the numbers. There's the jump on top. There's Fighting Jay. Gets the first kill. Santorsky takes 2. Scary D answers back. Still 2-1 China.
Xeno has no mana right now. Has no options to help, just those auto attacks. And as such, everyone's going to try and get out. Santorsky very, very close to death there.
So right there, that was a full commit from Luminosity on the right side, the same way we saw them on the left side. But the difference was Hapi was ready and waiting. 4 players at that speed buff, which was the target for LG.
The other thing is that Jeff Hinla didn't have his shell, and we saw how important that was earlier on. That time, Intoxicate hits multiple members of Luminosity and no shell to kind of mitigate that damage.
Yeah, and the Janus ulted in towards the speed buff, and the whole team of LG, they just grouped up for the Bacchus jump.
Yeah, that's another thing when you're in that jungle, and this is where Hapi's draft is going to excel. In the jungle, there's those small corridors. The ultimate comes through from the Janus, and the exit is right exactly where Hapi wanted them to be. So big burst damage, exactly what Hapi asked for, and they're able to get a couple of kills for free.
I mean, the Bacchus, the fat egg, he got a good jump, you know?
I respect that about you, Funball. I love it. This is the right cast to do it, too. I mean, me, the fat egg himself, F-Dot. Yeah,
Oh.
this is the place to do it.
Excellent, of course. Here we go. 8 minutes.
Taking a look at some of the items, I'm always curious about different regions and what they think the build paths really are. You can see it looks like Nemesis is going to be looking towards an Ichabod. Hold that thought. Barracuda boxing on the left-hand side.
He's by himself, though, so he's going to have his ultimate forced out, safely joining his yawn underneath the tower. Big aggression on a Luminosity there.
Couple ults burned on each side. Mid lane Soul loses hers. Not a big deal at this stage of the game. Not a huge game-changing ultimate. Xenotronics barely gets through the portal. Nice flop there from Santorsky, but just no follow-up available. And that's the problem, is that you have to be pretty close for a lot of the follow-up on this team. You can't really throw a Soul 2 throughout the entire duration of the team fight because it's going to end up hitting someone. You have to be close for slice and dice as well.
There's the ultimate out of the jungler. There's a quick escape out of Barracuda, but still here. Nice shot from the mid lane. And Barra gets the kill on a Santorsky.
That's the problem. When you're going up against a Giannis, it looks like a great fight. You're 3-on-1. Barracuda's ultimate is down. We've got the Nemesis ult. Oh, I just got hit in the face by through space and time.
And that's the thing, it's multifaceted. The ultimate catches the dash. And that is one dead Nemesis. Beautiful play from Luminosity. The Terra stun, gotta give a shout out to the support. So rarely celebrated.
So in the early game, it was all Scary D and how well he was doing, but now it's time to bring it back to the veterans. Jeff Inla and Barracuda making stuff happen on the left-hand side. You called it there right there, Tom. Catching the dash with the Nemesis, and then right on point with that knockup was Barracuda. And then, of course, he rolls a little lucky. You know, he's feeling a little sick out here, so he deserves it. That 223 crit coming up big.
Big play right there. Maker is forced to use this purification. It won't result in a kill right now, but keep an eye on this lane. Maker's gonna be in trouble. Here's the rotation into the mid lane, but Mask from behind. Told ya! Down goes Maker.
Soul nowhere to go now. Stunned out. Barracuda gonna pick up his 4th kill of the game. Left-hand tower goes down, as well as 2 kills the way of Luminosity. They are up a whopping 5K gold already.
So here's the deal, and I pose this question to you, Funball. There's so much pressure from Luminosity on that left side. Hapi have to be looking elsewhere on the map, but we don't see that push in the mid lane the way we saw out of Soar last game when INTZ knocked down Baskin solo. So where does Hapi look this time?
Nemesis needs to gank this Osiris. I feel like Ravana and Nemesis can get the lockdown, but the only problem is that Scary D has Witchblade, and how can you kill him with that when he's already so far ahead?
And I love that pickup already, especially because we're seeing this attack speed build coming out of that Nemesis. It's already countering that Ichabod.
Well, it's not just a Nemesis. You've got 3 characters that are based on basic attacks, right?
Oh, the pull back! Santorsky nowhere to go. Mask gonna pick him up. There's the problem. When you pick Bacchus into a Willish, where are you gonna go?
See, that you just gotta give it up for my man in the jungle. Mask, that is, so a lot of times when you're playing a Wheelish, you're planning that ultimate, right? And you have all the time in the world, okay, when he jumps, I got him. Bam, I go. Or you're gonna use it aggressively. That right there, that's just instinct, rocket it. And right there, Barracuda's using his instinct. Rob's gonna come down and fall as soon as he lands. Everybody waiting for him. And Zeno gets the last shot.
Bear is just doing whatever he wants right now. He started this engagement by invading this red 2v1 by himself. He's level 14 already. Scary D, who had that unbelievable start, he's only level 13.
I mean, that's the power. That's the power of Luminosity and their Hunter. Gold Fury going to go down a second time. Nobody from Hapi even in the vicinity. Down it goes, stretching Luminosity's lead even further. 8K, it's 12-3.
So you've been in this situation a lot, Funball. You're super fed as the Hunter. You can do whatever you want. What are you thinking in this sort of stage? Do you want to rotate and affect the team fights, or do you want to keep everyone on the left side?
I want to play as aggressive as I can, and I want to keep 2 people in one side of the lane, where Rama's rotating now and Bacchus has to defend for now. So what I want to do is force 2 people into the left lane and then rotate to mid as safely as I can. We also have globals.
And you really want to use them. And we've seen Luminosity exert that pressure out of the mid lane incredibly so, almost 4 or 5 times here from Xenotronic's hand. And one more time, we'll see the battle in the duo lane, or the solo lane, excuse me, Osiris versus a Fighting Jay.
Well, these days, there's 2 solo lanes, right? The Hunter lane is now a solo lane. Jeff Inla's been there like twice. And then you've got this solo lane over here, and Jeff Inla's just doing support things.
On a serious note, though, I'm so impressed with Scary D. This is a different player than we saw. Beginning of the year, big crit and big damage. Barracuda 3-on-1 gets 1 kill. Looking for the second, can't find it, but has support from the team. Down comes Terra, reset on Hapi, and Mask gonna catch up with the jungler Blue Whale.
Yeah, and this is why Barracuda's, he's been in every single major line, and he's so good.
Again.
Where are you going? Santorski's got nowhere to go. Double kill for Mask. Are you kidding me, Barracuda? I mean, if Maker finally feels like he's got an advantage, he rolls in, there's 3 of us here, and then he just gets exploded in the minion wave. Explosive bolts coming up huge. He tried to use the minions to body block, but that's not effective up against Jingwei.
Soul's gonna be in trouble too here. Mask is on the right side, Zeno on the left. Big damage, already down to half HP. Zeno gets credit for the kill on Juan. And Fighting Jay gonna jump on from the backside out of Mask. Look, nowhere to go. You run into the jungler or you run into the rest of the team, my friend. Terra's gonna help out. Speeds is good, no knock-up. And the pull is not available, so the solo lane is safe. His tower, not so much.
Yeah, and if this is Barracuda playing sick, then I do not want to play against him when he's actually ready in full form.
Well, Barracuda is a player transformed as well. We've really been focusing on the growth of Scary D and some of these lesser-known players. But when it comes to Barracuda, you're also looking at a completely transformed player. Last year, he was one of the most passive players in the league. Now, this absolutely does not look passive whatsoever.
Barracuda is playing some of the best Smite I've ever seen anyone play, period. Ever since the group stages, in one of the games that I will never forget, his individual performance up against Noble playing Rom. I mean, he just single-handedly put the team in his backpack and carried, and he's been on a roll ever since. I would not want to face Barracuda sick, healthy, whatever, if I was here at the Smite World Championships.
He just, you know, it's such a lame cliche to say, you know, this player is more hungry, this, that, or a third, but it's really true. When you speak to him, when you see it in his eyes, and right here, this is exactly what we're talking about. Just going for the kills underneath the tower, finding the basics, exerting the ultimate. Maker has met his own Maker.
LG fighting on the right-hand side as well. Scary D casually walking around 3 people. It's him and Jeff Hinla now. Through space of time, it's 2.
Out of control, Fighting Jay, half HP. Here comes Xenotronics to the right side. Scary D still chasing down. He's slowed, nowhere to go. Down goes Santorski. Scary D winds up with his 3rd kill of the contest.
Just complete domination right now. 2-man stun from Jeff Hinla. The shield perfectly timed though. Keeps him alive. Portal from a distance forces the purification onto Soul.
Oh my goodness, just out of control. And you know, that's what I'm talking about, that play. Blink forward, and he's got one more basic. Scary gets credit for it. Mask made that kill happen, and whoever is stuck under this tower is going back to base the hard way. You heard it, it's a rampage for Mask.
Just complete domination right now. I mean, Luminosity is just a well-oiled machine. They're working on all fronts. It started off with Scary D. Xenotronics has been all over the map. 4-0 and 10 for the mid laner playing this Giannis, and this is one of the characters that he looked the most comfortable on during Super Regionals. No surprise team have success
Look
again.
at this, Baron's playing over-aggressive to force Hapi to come onto him while the rest of the team wraps around the back. I mean, that's exactly what you want to do here.
Yeah, and he can get away with it because he's so far ahead. He has global presence with the Giannis, with the Terra. He's just going to get help.
Well, so this is interesting, Funball, because this is the difference between playing Smite and playing this game of Smite, right? Barracuda gets ahead, and he's put in Hapi's mind that he's going to be over-aggressive. He took a 3-on-1 before. He won a 2-on-1. So Hapi says, all right, we finally have the advantage. He's going to be over-aggressive. But then he punishes it because he knows the rest of the team is coming from the backside, and LG cleanup take the tier 2.
We heard it right there, 7 kills in a row. That makes you unstoppable, and that's the exact word that I would use to describe Barracuda right now. And even though Barracuda's had an unbelievable game, take a look at the 3v3 core for Luminosity. Mass, Xenotronics, and Jeff Hinla all have 15 kill participation, 15 out of the 22 kills. That tells you exactly how tightly they are roaming together. They're using that through space and time. They're moving each other around the map, and they've done it excellently thus far.
We really, like, in all honesty, when it comes down to this, if the Fire Giant goes down, Luminosity collect it. We're going to collect 2 souls here in the mid lane, it looks like, as well. One's certainly going to be the soul of Soul. Mask, on the other hand, splits off by himself, gets Juan, and there's going to be the kill on to Maker. Mask with the double kill. One more time.
Popping the ultimate just for the additional power. Gonna find Fighting Jay as well. Mask gets the triple kill. 3 dead, 4 dead make that for Hapi.
Could this be game?
This could be the end.
Yeah, the Phoenix is going to go down. Luminosity show no signs of stopping. The Fire Giant was good enough. There's only 2 defenders, and it's all in the books. 26-3 in just 17 minutes of play. Luminosity Gaming take the squad.
That's exactly what you